Today, we are going to start a new book. Written by a famous Indian-British hunter, Jim Corbett. The Man-Eating Leopard of Rudraprayag. Corbett begins the tale by describing the journey taken by Hindu pilgrims from the hot plains of India to the holy shrines of Kedarnath and Badranath Valley. To earn full religious blessings, a pilgrim must start from Haridwar and walk every single step, barefoot, all the way through the Himalayas to the sacred temples. After bathing in the holy Harkipuri pool at Haridwar and offering prayers at the temples, pilgrims are expected to give coins to the lepers, people with a disease, who sit on the road. If they don't, the lepers may shout curses. Even though these lepers may have hidden wealth, but their curses are feared, and avoiding them costs only a few coins. Now the pilgrim is ready to begin the tough and sacred journey. The first town you reach is Rishikesh, where you'll meet a group of kind and respected holy men known as the Kalakamli people. Their name comes from the black blankets they wear. These men do great service, building and running hospitals, shelters, and food centers for the poor with the donations they receive. Next is Lakshmanjula, where the road crosses a hanging bridge over the Ganges River. Here, red monkeys are known to block the path. They beg for food and may attack if you don't give them something like sweets or roasted grains. So, be careful. 3 days later, following the Ganga, you reach Srinagar, once the capital of Garhwal. It is a beautiful valley surrounded by tall mountains. In 1805, brave Garhwali soldiers made their last stand here against the Gurkhas. Sadly, in 1894, a massive flood caused by the breaking of the Gana Lake Dam destroyed the city. The dam had formed from a landslide and burst open, releasing an enormous amount of water. Though the flood was huge, only one family died. They had gone back into the danger area after being warned. From Srinagar, you climb steeply to Chattakal, where you'll see breathtaking views of the Ganga Valley and the snow-covered peaks near Kedarnath. A day's walk from Chattakal brings you to Galabrai, a small resting place with thatched shelters, a simple stone house, and a clean water trough. The water flows through pine wood channels in the summer, and tumbles over rocks surrounded by ferns and bright green plants the rest of the year. Just beyond the shelters stands a mango tree and a 2-story house owned by a pundit. These will be important in the story to come. 2 miles ahead, across the last flat land for a long time, you reach Rudraprayag, a holy place where 2 rivers meet, the Alaknanda and the Mandakini. This is where Corbett and the imaginary pilgrim part ways. The pilgrim continues toward Kedarnath, while Corbett turns to go home to Nainital. The path ahead is very hard, steep, rough, and exhausting. If you've never climbed mountains or walked on rocky roads, it will be painful. Your lungs will struggle with the thin mountain air. Your feet may bleed from sharp stones and frozen ground. Many times you'll wonder if the pain is worth it. But being a true believer, you'll keep going, reminding yourself that the more you suffer in this life, the greater the reward in the next. When a wild animal, whether a leopard or a tiger, starts killing and eating people, it is given a name based on the place where its man-eating behavior becomes known. This doesn't mean the animal began killing there, or that it killed only in that area. But for ease of identification, the name sticks. So, although the leopard first killed a human in a village 12 miles away from Rudraprayag, it came to be known as the man-eating leopard of Rudraprayag. Why do leopards become man-eaters? Unlike tigers, leopards don't usually become man-eaters for the same reasons. Leopards are among the most beautiful and graceful creatures in India's jungles. They are incredibly brave when hurt or cornered. But sadly, they are also scavengers, which means they'll eat anything dead if they're hungry, just like lions in Africa. Now, in Garhwal, most people are Hindus and they cremate their dead. Usually, cremation happens by a river so the ashes can be washed down to the river named Ganga, also called Ganges. But most villages are up in the mountains, and rivers are far below in the valleys. So carrying a body down, along with the wood for the funeral pyre, is difficult and tiring for small communities. In normal times, people do it. But when a disease epidemic sweeps through the hills and people start dying in large numbers, there often isn't enough manpower to perform full cremations. Instead, In emergencies, villagers might place a burning coal in the dead person's mouth, a basic ritual, and then throw the body over a cliff into the valley below. A hungry leopard in that area, finding human bodies lying in the valley, he may start eating them. And once it develops a taste for human flesh, it may begin to kill living people, especially when the epidemic ends and unburnt bodies are no longer available. This is exactly what happened after the 1918 influenza epidemic, which killed over 1 million people across India. Gadwal region was badly hit, and soon after the epidemic, the dreaded man-eating leopard appeared. The first recorded killing by this leopard happened in Bainji village on June 9, 1918. The last known victim was killed on April 14, 1926, in Bainswada village. According to official records, the leopard killed 125 people in those 8 years. However, Jim Corbett himself says this number is not accurate. Some kills he personally knew about were not even recorded. He isn't trying to downplay the pain suffered by the people, nor is he exaggerating the leopard's legend. In fact, he believes this leopard may have killed even more people than officially noted. This leopard became the most publicized man-eater ever. Newspapers in Britain, America, Canada, South Africa, Australia and many other countries reported on it. In India, it was in nearly every newspaper, plus, every year, around 60,000 pilgrims visited Kedarnath and Badrinath, and they carried the terrifying stories of the man-eater to every corner of the country. Whenever someone was believed to be killed by a man-eater, the victim's family would report it to the local official, called Patwari, a local government officer. The Patwari would visit the spot to investigate. If the body was found, he'd check if it was truly the work of a man-eater, not a murder or accident. If convinced, he would allow the family to perform the funeral, and the death would be officially recorded. If the body wasn't found, because man-eaters often drag their victims far away, the case remained unconfirmed. Also, if someone was attacked and later died from injuries, that too wasn't always counted. So even though the system tried to keep careful records, it was very possible for a man-eating animal to have many more victims than officially noted, especially when it killed over many years. Corbett wrote, "Have you ever heard the word terror? We use it often, sometimes even for silly things. But in the mountains of Garhwal, between 1918 and 1926, terror had a real, chilling meaning. It came in the form of a leopard, silent, clever, and deadly, known as the man-eating leopard of Rudraprayag. In just 500 square miles, over 50,000 people lived, and around 60,000 pilgrims passed through each year, going to the holy temples of Kedarnath and Badrinath. For 8 years, everyone, villagers and pilgrims alike, lived under the fear of being hunted. During the day, life seemed normal. People worked in fields, went to markets, climbed hills to cut grass. Children went to school or collect firewood in jungle. Pilgrims walked the long paths to the sacred temples. But as soon as the sun began to set, everything changed. People rushed home. Women hurried down the hills with bundles of grass. Mothers called out to their children. Pilgrims were warned to find shelter quickly. When night came, a deep silence fell over the land. Every house was locked, some even added extra wooden doors. Pilgrims huddled together in shelters. No one talked. Everyone waited, afraid to even breathe too loudly. Because one sound, one open door, and the leopard might come. This was real terror. And the stories that follow will show you why. There was a 14-year-old orphan boy, from a poor, lower-caste family. His job was to take care of 40 goats. Every evening, after bringing them back, he was locked inside a small room with the goats to sleep. The room had no window, just one wooden door. His master would secure the door from outside, and the boy would roll a stone against it from inside, to be extra safe. But one night, the leopard came. Somehow, it managed to dislodge the lock, push the stone, and enter the room, filled with 40 goats. No one knows if it jumped over the goats or crawled under them. The boy, deep in sleep, never cried out. And his master, sleeping just above that room, didn't hear a sound. The next morning, they found the boy's remains deep in a rocky ravine. The goats? All 40 were safe, not even a scratch. The leopard had come only for human flesh. Second story. In a peaceful village, 2 men were sitting in a dark room, sharing a smoke, a hookah. The room was shaped like an L, and they sat against the wall, talking. Suddenly, the hookah fell over, spilling burning coals. One man bent down to gather the embers. As he looked toward the door, lit by the fading moon, he froze. He saw the leopard walking out, carrying his friend in its jaws. He hadn't heard a sound, no struggle, no scream, not even a breath. He sat in shock. Then, after a few moments, he quietly got up, closed the door, and locked it. Third story. The wife of a village headman was seriously ill with fever. 2 women from the village stayed the night to care for her. The house had 2 rooms. The sick woman and the helpers slept in the inner room. The headman slept in the outer room, near a small window. A brass water pot stood in that window, and a lantern burned low to save oil. In the middle of the night, the leopard squeezed through the window, without even touching the brass pot. It crept past the sleeping man, walked into the inner room, and killed the sick woman. Only when the leopard tried to carry her body out, knocking over the brass pot, did the others wake up. They found her under the window, her throat ripped open by the leopard's fangs. Later, one villager said, she was already very sick. She might have died anyway. Maybe it's good the leopard took her. For 8 long years, this one animal brought entire villages to a standstill after sunset. People lived in fear, behind bolted doors, too scared to speak at night. The man-eating leopard of Rudraprayag was no ordinary predator. It was death in silence, fear in the dark, and perhaps the most terrifying man-eater the world has ever known. So, what would you do if you had to live in total silence every night, just to stay alive? Would you dare open your door, knowing a man-eating leopard might be waiting outside? This was only the beginning. In the next part, we dive deeper into the leopard's attacks, the failed attempts to kill it, and the growing desperation of an entire region haunted by one invisible killer. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to your channel. Worst Animal Attacks. We will be back soon with another video. Till then, take care.